ball-clenching, sphincter-puckering pain all the time.
The biggest question here is, are you surprised? And the answer is absolutely not. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to Hell. And here on our Hell Gondola, not every story that I bring you is brimming with sadness and disappointment. Thankfully. No, some of them are actually shining streams of light in the darkness. It is also a shining stream of light when you buy and try my tea from Lion's Tea Exchange, which I will link in the description box if you want to support my channel. Buying a box of tea is the best way to do that, and it tastes delicious, and the new boxes feel very nice. So there's that. Anyway, depending on how you personally feel about Star Trek and Starfleet Academy, this news will either make you very, very happy or very, very, very sad. I, along with basically everyone on the internet, recently talked about Starfleet Academy, the newest installment in the Star Trek universe. Or franchise? Anyway, and from the day this thing came into being, it has been criticized for all sorts of reasons. Mainly, you know, what the hell is this?
Honorable Assembly.
Yes.
My opponent has argued that the Klingon...
Yes. Come in.
that the Klingon Empire...
Come on. Come on.
And so with that said, it is not at all surprising that this show has already been canned. This show is to Star Trek what The Acolyte is to Star Wars, if that puts it in perspective. So the very fun recent news here is that Starfleet Academy will be cancelled after season 2 and will not be renewed for season 3. When I read this initially, I was like, Season 2? This is going to have a season 2? But I learned that this show was picked up by Paramount Plus in 2023 and it was renewed for its second season before the first had even aired. Which is somehow so much funnier. They were so confident that this would do well that they'd already renewed it before they had any meaningful metrics about if this show would be successful or not. The second season has also already wrapped production, so they're fully locked into this SHIT show for at least another few years. In a joint statement about the cancellation, CBS Studios and Paramount Plus said that they were incredibly proud of the ambition and creativity that went into bringing Starfleet Academy to life. The statement goes on, "The series introduced audiences to a bold new group of characters, welcomed familiar faces, and expanded the Star Trek universe in exciting new ways." I mean, yeah, okay, that's definitely one way of looking at it. "We look forward to sharing the upcoming second and final season with everyone, and continuing to celebrate the cast, crew, and all that was accomplished with this series." Ah yes, I really feel like the Star Trek universe has been expanded.
Next.
I think I swallowed my com badge.
Already.
This news is obviously probably going to come as a bit of a shock to the 5 people who enjoyed this show, but it's also one of those situations where critic approval was really high. It has 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, which probably is giving an inaccurate view of how many people actually like this. I always see this stuff and think, who is rating this highly? And why? What, you think you're better than the rest of us? I mean, I certainly don't think I'm better than the rest of you, but you know who does? The evil FBI man and/or hacker person who is stalking you on your Wi-Fi network right now because it's not protected with a VPN. And that's why today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. And you better watch it because I work really hard on these, okay? I buy costumes and things. Dear Sydney, I hope you're doing well. I wouldn't know because you've been using Surfshark VPN constantly lately. I miss seeing you on public Wi-Fi networks and stalking you across websites. Those were good times. But no more! Since you've started using Surfshark, you've locked me out of your online searches and locked me out of your heart. There's no fun for me anymore. I can't block you from accessing geo-blocked websites and entertainment because Surfshark just bypasses the country restrictions. Is there someone else, Sydney? Have you fallen in love with someone on Surfshark's 24/7 customer service team? Did you find someone else using Surfshark's thousands of worldwide servers? Have you let someone else take advantage of Surfshark working on unlimited devices from the one subscription? I need to know. I am nothing without you. This is getting a little sad there, buddy. She's moved on. She's with me now. Because she knows that she can get all of my products in the one place. Like Surfshark Alert, or even Surfshark Antivirus. I have it all, my guy. It's over, dude. It'll never be over. So if you too are ready to say goodbye to your FBI men and sign up with me, then click the link in the description or go to surfshark.com/Sydney. And don't forget to use code Sydney to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's like the tongue that like, this is creepy. Okay, last one, I won't laugh. But once again, as all of you can probably guess, user ratings suck. Are we surprised? No, not really. And I guess on a more concrete viewership level, if I can say that, back in February 2026, it was reported that the show's Nielsen rating, Nielsen is a company that measures media audiences for television, radio, film, newspapers, and so on, the rating was not good. According to the outlet That Park Place, Nielsen's streaming data covering the show's premiere tracking window, Starfleet Academy failed to chart in the top 10 originals entirely. That absence is significant on its own, but the context surrounding the debut makes the performance even more concerning for Paramount's flagship franchise play. Some of these articles are so hard to read, guys. I confess that I am so bad at maths that trying to succinctly explain what That Park Place succinctly explained is really, really hard. But basically, despite Paramount Plus rolling out Starfleet Academy with a 2-episode premiere, it still did not even come close to meeting the watch views required to even break into Nielsen's top 10. I will link this article in the description for all of you if you feel like being little mathematic nerds in your own time, because maths is very hard for me. The point is, despite being artificially inflated to be a good show by critics and by the media, this show just did not resonate with actual viewers. And so obviously the cancellation, of course, has to do with viewership numbers being not great, but also probably to do with the fact that the show is incredibly expensive to produce. Starfleet Academy reportedly cost over $8 million per episode, a figure difficult to justify when the series is struggling to pull a meaningful viewership amount. What's funnier still is that despite the immediate and idiotic renewal for season 2, and we know that if that hadn't been the case, this show probably would have been cancelled after season 1, apparently there are rumors that forced rewrites took place to ensure that season 2's finale serves as an actual series ender, which is apparently exactly the same way it went for Star Trek Discovery, another Paramount Plus Star Trek show that actually ran for 5 seasons before getting axed. Again, super similar to Starfleet Academy, apparently the showrunner, Michelle Paradise, what a name, said that they didn't even know that the series was being killed off until they wrapped production for season 5. Is this just a thing that Paramount Plus does? It just greenlights Star Trek shows and then just kills them basically immediately? Anyway, like I said in my last video about this topic, I am by no means a Trekkie, and I say that because I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to talk about this franchise with any sort of, meaningful authority, because I don't have that. Nope. I know you nerds like to sit in your nerd castles and correct me in the comments, okay? Yes, you know more than me. Terrific job. But I will say, as an entertainment consumer and a person who is very across this kind of news, Starfleet Academy being cancelled is entirely predictable. And like I said, had they not renewed it immediately for season 2, it wouldn't even be having a season 2. Nerdrodic, the YouTube channel here on YouTube that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, actually made a really great observation about this franchise and other similar franchises in a recent video. He basically said that studios keep trying to reanimate the corpses of series that have already more or less been laid to rest, and when they do reanimate them, they do it without giving the new shows or films any actual real meaningful life. If you're going to go to the effort of revamping something for the modern era, at least make it both likable for older fans, who realistically are going to be the majority of viewers, while also making it appealing to newer potential fans in the least offensive way possible. But I don't think that's even an option these days, so here we will exist on our Hell Gondola, together, Suffering. In my personal opinion, the true issue with trying to reanimate the franchises we all grew up with is that they don't really translate so well for young people these days. For a bunch of reasons, of course, but one of the biggest is that media today is so different to how it used to be. It's fast, and it's vapid, and it lacks depth, and it doesn't really demand meaningful attention from viewers. And for a franchise like Star Trek, that was interesting and cerebral in its sort of original iteration, these two things don't really go together. I covered this extensively in my last video about this topic, so I will link that in the description box to avoid having to repeat myself and bore all of you. But in Starfleet Academy's case, this was dead in the water from day one because it faced intense criticism for perceived woke elements, including diverse casting, progressive themes, and a younger, more contemporary tone aimed at new audiences.
Now, we have nothing left but our traditions.
Is there room to expand tradition?
Director Jonathan Frakes, and sorry if I'm saying that wrong, I'm so bad with the names, publicly addressed some of the negativity towards the show, saying that when Next Gen came out almost 40 years ago, pre-internet, they also were trolled. He went on to say, but it's still dimensionally more painful today, and the trolls are hiding and the trolls are hating. It's the first rule of the Constitution. I guess they're entitled to their opinion, but it surprises me how aggressively anti they are with each new iteration of the show, and it continues to surprise me, and I try not to let it upset me. But I think it really goes to show how much these people don't understand who will actually watch a show like this and why audiences are generally upset with what gets churned out and what they're forced to observe. The weird reactions from the people associated with creating this show and the angry reactions from viewers remind me so much of the response to The Acolyte. The Acolyte faced similar accusations of injecting modern identity politics into a legacy franchise, leading to the same terrible reviews and its showrunner and cast blaming viewers for being racist and sexist. God, it's exhausting. This is always a winning criticism. This was also a very similar situation with a very low viewership and a very, very high production budget. Production costs. The production costs a lot of money, and I just don't know why Paramount Plus didn't see this coming. The blueprint for failure was quite honestly right there because The Acolyte had already paved the way for what not to do. It had already shown us what not to do. The Acolyte positioned itself as an evolution of Star Wars, and so did Starfleet Academy to a lesser extent. Starfleet Academy is a youth-focused, post-Burn era Academy drama, while The Acolyte is a High Republic era exploration of the Jedi from a darker perspective. Both aim to attract a younger, more diverse viewership by emphasizing inclusion and contemporary relevance. But all this did was alienate core older fans who felt that the franchise's core optimistic and/or mythic identities were being destroyed. In both cases, the studios attempted to revamp for today's audience without really realizing that today's audience doesn't care about these franchises. And so, once again, we end up with a polarizing series with poor engagement that results in a very obvious and very predictable cancellation. What makes me so mad about this is that studios have everything at their disposal to make something new and to make something good and new. And yet they keep redoing the same things over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And personally, I don't know about the rest of you, but personally, I am tired of this. Every time I turn around, there's some new reboot in the works, whether it's Harry Potter or Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, why do we need Scooby-Doo? I'm pretty sure there was even going to be a Buffy reboot, but that got killed before it even got started. You guys probably know way more about that than I do, so let me know in the comments if that's the case, because I'm pretty sure it is. Outfits like Paramount and Disney are so lazy that their entire business model seems like it's built around expanding existing IPs to capture new demographics. But they often do this by retrofitting existing properties rather than investing in wholly original concepts. And don't get me wrong, I get it. They want to take that which has already been successful, that which already exists, and revamp it for a brand new group of people because it's easier to build on something that's already around, that's already established, than make something new. And then they use the built-in audience as marketing leverage. You know, it's smart. I hate it. But it's smart. But all these revamps ever seem to do is clash with fan expectations. And it's sort of funny because I read a comment on Reddit, which don't judge me, okay? Sometimes the libs say good stuff, about how Star Trek has always been somewhat progressive and somewhat diverse. See its interracial kiss in the 1960s. So the issue doesn't necessarily lie in diversity, which is, like, we know that's annoying, but a lot of this has to do with execution, and I can absolutely see how that is the argument people are making and how that might be the case.